This conference will now be recorded.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Clueless Day Trading Frank. It's approximately 8:33 p.m. on December 6, 2020. This is our weekend strategic webinar. Sessions are uploaded to the Google YouTube channel, on Clueless8_trading. So you all can listen to it at your own time. Welcome. Full disclosure, this is purely for financial education, not for a solicitation or advice. We have Paul in attendance, and it seems like there is no excitement about this amazing market that we're going through, and multiple amazing trade alert winners almost every day. So that's fantastic. From a behavioral finance standpoint, that's actually fantastic that nobody is that excited to attend webinars and make money this coming week, which is going to be a phenomenal week, in my opinion, not just for the markets, but for individual stocks. And that's it. Full disclosure, this is purely for financial education, not for any solicitation or advice. All right, we have Chris who just joined us, and Paul. And so let's start. I'm going to try to keep this short, like I always promise, but it keeps on going on and on. But I do want to show a couple of important charts and talk about a couple of small cap winners that have been doing very well for us and have earnings this week. Case in point, Gamestop, which has a delta of 243%. If you don't know what delta is on an option, I suggest you go to Investopedia, type in delta, D-E-L-T-A, and look at it. It has a 243% delta. You can do a spread, you can sell puts, which means you're long, or you can buy straight out calls, which are very cheap, in my opinion, and make money. That's the way it goes. All right, Chris, you're connected?
Yeah, I think so. Can you hear me?
Yep. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sounds good. Paul, you're there?
Yeah, I'm actually here twice. I'm trying to move from my mobile phone to my desktop here.
Yes, I do see that on this end. Thank you. All right. So the headline on tonight's webinar is called Beast Mode. And I didn't just put Beast Mode out there, and that's for the overall market, which is S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100, and of course the Russell 2000, just for fun. It is on Beast Mode. And it is going to be on Beast Mode just for a couple of days before we get a quick correction, probably Wednesday. And all of you should listen to my last webinar that Chris was on. That was on Thursday. And I actually did a calendar count, a day count on when the markets would peak and then pull back and all that good stuff. So please listen to Thursday's webinar that's uploaded on the YouTube channel, and you shall all know. So the first thing that I'm going to show tonight is the Mclaren Oscillator. There we go. All right, forget all these ads and all that crap. And look at this. As technical traders, we live in the matrix, which means we don't really care what the news is. Well, we do care what the news is. But at the same time, we really don't care what the price action is that much. But we like to do some predictive forecasts. And that is exactly what we're doing right now. Look at this trajectory. It is a plus. Look at the MACD. That's a plus. Look at the full stows, stochastics, which includes the slow and the fast stochastics, which is the first derivative of the relative strength index. That is a plus. So where do we land up? On the upper end, on the NYMO, which is the New York Stock Exchange Mclaren Oscillator, which means more money in your pocket. Right here, 72.48, possibly 80. Okay, let's look at the weekly. That was the daily that I showed you. That means over this week. And this has a back-tested accuracy ratio of almost 80 to 90%. And please review my past webinars if you don't want to know if this indicator is correct or not. Weekly. And nobody has this chart, by the way, because the internal script that was written and sent to me by a good friend of mine from Canada, another good friend of mine from Canada, so that's from Paul, many years ago, has been a great directional bias indicator. So what's happening with the weekly? Let's look at it. Going higher. Again, somewhere in the 72 range before we get fully overbought. Let's look at the MACD, shooting higher. So that's a plus. That's a plus. The full stows heading towards extreme overbought levels, somewhere around the 90 level. That's a plus. So short term, we're going higher. That's it. There's nothing about it. Just telling you straight out. So people who do not want to play individual stocks, which is totally fine, you can buy the SPY and still make money. And I always have some SPY calls in my pocketbook, and those have been doing fantastic. Even though I don't put out the SPY trade alerts that much lately, meaning over the last 1 to 2 weeks, I show the charts, I tell you where it's going to go. If it's going higher, use your own judgment to buy SPY calls 1 week, 2 weeks ahead. That's it. It's no magic. All good. Next. This is our chart of the E-mini daily. We are in the acceleration zone. Yes, we are very overbought. No question about it. Overbought can remain overbought, as we can see here, as we can see here. Max overbought level with a stimulus bill passing, which they seem like they are getting there, is 37.57 on the S&P 500 or the E-mini futures. Let's look at the ones that we use daily to figure out what the markets are doing, which is this. We are technical traders. I don't give a crap about what somebody thinks about how they feel when they wake up in the morning or how they feel in the afternoon. I'm just showing you what we are doing. Futures right now are down, and this is just early session futures, 3.5, big deal. It'll probably come down here. We are in the acceleration phase right now, and that is the acceleration channel. So yes, we could dip down a little bit in the morning, but high probability that the markets will turn as we move along during the day. If you listen to my last webinar, you know the day count, and the day count is that sometime by Tuesday, we should have a peak, short-term peak in the market. And this is where we are right now as we speak. Does this look like a big bearish, like end of the world kind of chart? No, I don't think so. And let me adjust it a little bit. Okay, that's fine. That's good for now. All right. Let's see here. We have on my ultimate predictive bias chart, predictive chart, which is of quad, QUODD. This is how the market ended on Friday. People who don't understand technicals and stuff, feel free to DM me, sign up for the advanced coaching sessions, do whatever you need to do. I'm just showing you what I see. And as traders, we really don't care what other people think, which includes my members. I don't care what I think. I'm just showing you what I think. Use your own judgment and move along. We have a serious megaphone on this chart. How it's going to play out will mean intraday volatility, but one way or the other, in my opinion, based on what I have done for many, many years, which have been pretty deadly accurate, because I am a very contrarian trader, the markets will end at 3750 on the S&P 500. This is how the charts closed on Friday. You guys all have your own charts that different platforms you use, stock charts and blah, blah, blah. I don't care. I'm just showing you what I use. Here's your pivot line, the dotted yellow. We don't want to break the pivot, and this is where we are. Now, here is the most interesting part. The stochastics, look at that. Not only got overbought, they got higher overbought, and they're moving sideways. Do you both see that? All of you see that? Hey, Jeremy, JP, you here? JP, one of my closest friends from many, many years ago, joined us back a couple of months ago. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. God bless you. So when I look at this chart, and I'm not trying to change anyone's mind, mind you, okay, is I'm saying this market's got juice. Bear with me 1 second. Pen. Okay, look at this. Not only did we shoot up from oversold levels over the past couple of days, past week, now we are actually moving sideways. That's big, because you could move sideways for a whole bunch of days, kill the shorts, and then drop 400 points. And most importantly, look at the S stock, which is the slow stochastics. I know you guys don't really give, some of you don't really like quite understand or listen to me and say, okay, yeah, that makes sense. This stuff has made me more money than anything over a long period of time, and helped me to buy not the BTFD, buy the effing dips, but the technical dips. So I'm just trying to share that with you. Okay, so the S stock moved up, and look the way it's going. Now, can it all of a sudden drop? Well, I wouldn't like that. Sure it can. So can somebody tell me what the biggest risk to the market is right now over the next, let's say, this week? Because I'd like to know. Because I'm not uber bullish. I'm always a tactical trader, but I'd like to know. Chris, JP, Mike, Paul, Redline, can somebody, what is the biggest risk to the markets this coming week?
I'll take a shot. It's Paul here. I'll say complications with the dispute of the U.S. election.
Yeah, that's a risk. Yeah, I agree with you. But that's not going to be, what is the biggest pivot for the elections? What date and what state? Can somebody tell me? Chris should know.
Isn't it the 20, it's the 21st, is it?
No, January 20th is the handover. Look, let's face facts here. Let's keep politics aside. Biden is president-elect, but not officially elected. Let's face facts, okay? So what is the
Yes.
state? What is the state and a particular election that's going to determine whether or not the Senate goes Democratic, which I don't want it to be honest with you.
The Georgia runoff.
Yes, and what date is that?
January 5th.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much, sir. January 5th. January 5th is a long time off. All right? Exactly. We have to understand the dynamics of how American politics plays on the markets. Now, there is also another big issue in the market is that President Trump, political games that he plays, putting pressure on the fact that Chinese companies would be delisted from the U.S., and he passed a bill on doing that. Well, that's not going to happen for a simple reason. There is one clause. One, it's a 3-year delay. Just so you guys are well informed. That's the reason I put hashtag well informed on my webinar, okay? And keep looking at this chart. It's a damn good looking one. And so it's a 3-year delay. And number two, I totally agree with that resolution that's been passed through the Congress and Senate. And the Democrats are in with it too. Because if there's some garbage Chinese companies, and there's a whole bunch of them, by the way, not the big ones, not Alibaba, not JD.com, not like this or that, okay? Not NetEase and this and that. NetEase, I'm sorry. Not Neo, not the big ones. But there's a whole bunch of small Chinese companies I know from my Wall Street days who got listed on the US stock exchanges because the investment banking firms on Wall Street were making a lot of money, so they threw them out. Small cap companies primarily. But all that garbage should be thrown out. Do you think they're going to delist Alibaba, which is Amazon Junior? So they can take all their multi-trillion-dollar business, multi-billion-dollar business to Hong Kong? No, I don't think so. So that's, some people say, oh, that's a big risk. It's not a big risk. Garbage. The largest of the largest state pension funds own Alibaba. And they're a real company. But all Chinese companies on the US stock exchanges should, big and small, what's the word I'm looking for? Comply with US accounting standards. Exactly. And that's totally fine. Any other risk you guys can think of? Aside from the fact you might wake up with a big hangover tomorrow morning?
Just maybe disappointments or delays in the stimulus.
Yes, that to me is the biggest risk. Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you. That is a short-term risk. Exactly. Even though they're talking friendly and they're saying, okay, we're going to get along, this and that. It seems like both parties want to get this thing done. And don't forget, I don't know how you guys quite understand how Washington, D.C. works, but the Dems and the Republicans, despite the public facade of being hardcore enemies, are actually great friends. Because at the end of the day, they all go to the same bar to have a drink. The swamp remains the same. Okay? Mitch McConnell might badmouth Pelosi and this and that, but at the end of the day, they'll get together for a drink.
Come on down to Junior Squad.
Somebody please mute their mic, okay? Sounds like a frigging drive-by shooting. Okay. So, yeah. So, looks like they're going to get something done. Yeah, but that is the biggest risk. Thank you, Paul. So, this chart looks good. Let's look at the next chart. That's the S&P 500. This is the daily chart. This looks unbelievably hot. Which brings a question to my mind. Is it that hot that it's too good to be true? This is a chart that goes back, and this I've drawn years ago. And please look at it carefully. When you listen to my webinars, please try to see it on a bigger screen because we are visual traders. Technical traders are visual traders. So we need to look at pictures. Okay. So this goes back to February of 2020, beginning of the year. When you take the first glance, and I'm going back to the core basics, not the hardcore, I'm the smartest guy in the world that all the StockTwits people and all other trading services, oh, those are really smart people. Yes, they're all smart people. I don't give a flying fuck. It's the people who make money who should take credit, and that's real estate trading. Okay, so when you look at this chart, does this look bearish? And I'm going to go one by one. Chris, does this chart look bearish?
No, not at all.
Okay,
You've got,
Mr. I asked you a question. I didn't ask an explanation. J Pester, my good friend. JP, can you hear me? JP actually probably doesn't have a mic and he's writing no. He says no, my mic is not working. JP, love that guy, man. Love that guy. Send me a picture of his family. I love you, man. That's great. Okay, let me not get mushy. Just kidding. So next, oops, I gotta change this. Okay, I'm back to the screen. Next one is Mike. Mr. Harrington, does this chart look bullish or bearish?
It looks bullish.
Okay, Paul?
The chart is gone, but it looks bullish. We don't see the chart. Yeah, we're just seeing the names of the attendees.
You don't see that? Oh, that's interesting. Let me fix that. My apologies. My apologies. Let me just get screen monitor and share, and it should be there right now.
Wow, that's bullish.
Thank you for reminding me of that, because sometimes all these multiple screens change, you know, and people should remind me so I can switch it back. So you see that right now, right? So what if we were truly technical traders, which none of us are not, including me. Yes, I try every single day to be as robotic as possible, even on days like my P&L's upside down, like Thursday, and then we had one of our biggest days on Thursday. From the huge 400 point down to be going positive. And I called it. I did. Exactly. Did I do it because I just had a gut feeling like, oh my God, it's going to? No, I looked at a lot of different things. I looked at the VIX, I looked at the S&P, looked at the indicators and all that good stuff. And I said, no, we're going higher. And we did. So same thing with this chart. I'm not just this chart was drawn months ago. And I just look at it once in a while to keep me grounded. Because remember, there's a lot of noise in the market. A lot of people with their opinions, including me. And we all get kind of like, you know, frazzled. Well, fuck that. Just let's look at a bigger picture. So what's happening here? 1 second. Sometimes we have to go back to basics. We have what I told you guys in September, after it started developing. We have a inverse head and shoulder with a W formation. That's a W formation, which is called dragon bullish. I'm going to say DB. Okay, that's a plus, positive, dragon bullish, with a sideways consolidation that lasted for almost a month. Now let's keep in mind that we're all impatient. We're all impatient, like, you know, undisciplined traders. We all are. But I'm just telling you the way it looks. So it's a dragon bullish with a sideways consolidation. So let's draw this. See, charts don't lie. Traders do. I always said that from a long time ago. I used to post that on StockTwits many years ago. Traders lie because they always want to, you know, we're talking their own book. Hedge fund managers lie. Analysts lie. They all lie. They're all liars. Because we're all trying to make ourselves feel good. Charts never lie. But it's how you read the chart from a cognitive bias, i.e., are you bullish or bearish? Technicals never lie. So basically, it's a cup and a sideways handle, which now has broken out. Now, we try to pinpoint like how much can it break out. We look at the short-term charts, whatever. Let's just face facts. It's broken out. Boeing, that I'm going to show again today. I told you guys to buy it at 140, 150, 160. It's at 232, went to 240 bucks. I know some of my members made money obscene. I did well. I should have done better. But I had other things that were going well. And if I ask some of you, like aside from Paul, who has been long Boeing and has been tracking Boeing and has been on my webinars and looked at the Boeing charts, all that stuff, he's done very well. But what about the rest of you? That's the problem. All you need is 1 or 2 stocks to go gangbusters. You need 1 or 3 stocks to go to zero. Well, they don't normally go to zero, but they're down. And then you want the ones in the middle to go up very nicely. Boeing, I said months ago, alone can take the Dow Jones up 2,000 points. And it did exactly that. Yes or no, Paul?
Yes.
Yeah. And Paul is not somebody, Paul is a very tough guy. Okay? Paul will smack me around when I'm wrong. But he knows it, he remembers everything that I said. Boeing alone can take us to 32,000 on the Dow. Can. Not in December, but going forward. Boeing alone can go to $200 to $300. It's already at 232 at the close. And I always said Boeing, the finest American company ever. Global sales. A company that every other nation loves. Our enemies buy Boeing because they love Boeing. And then people are like, oh, what stock should I buy? Sad. All right. So this is excellent. Next, let's take a look at the Qs. Do I have it here? Yeah. Okay. Screen this out. And that's a NASDAQ 100 ETF, primarily for technology and for biotechs. Okay. I don't know why those things on my screen look so large, the fonts, but I do apologize for that. I'm going to move this up. Those lines up here are not generated by me. They're generated by my QUODD system platform that any one of you can subscribe to. That's the one that was used in there's the show on billions. I told you guys a couple of times, the show. Look at this. This is the NASDAQ. The text. Does this look bullish or bearish? Chris, JP, Mike, Paul.
Bullish.
You know what scares me, and this is the part that scares me, because I'm truly a out-of-the-box kind of trader, thinker at least. I try to be, or at least I fake myself. I fake. You gotta fake it to make it, right? Is I look at the internals, and they're like, holy crap! Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. So when something looks really, really that good, I kind of like, hold on a minute. But I can't deny what the technicals are saying. Because the technicals, every candle, what is a candle? That's a huge reversal hammer back from late November. What does a candle represent? Can somebody tell me in simple English? Like you're in a stump speech and somebody says, well, what are those green candles? What do they really mean? Can somebody tell me in 2 or 3 words like what they mean? Chris, what is
That's
a
just
candle?
opening and closing price for the day.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Thank God you're not a politician. JP, I know you're probably going to type it in. No. In simple English, if you met a guy on the street who looked at a candlestick and said, hey, you trade those candlesticks, those are green candles, that's a long tail hammer, that's a nice, they're not going to say that, But what does a green candle mean in simple English? Paul, Mike.
The price went up.
Well, you gave me half the answer. Mike?
Trading activity for the day.
Nah, garbage. You guys, seriously, as true patriots and Americans, really suck at giving a simple answer. It means money is going into the market or into that stock. A green candle like this means billions of dollars just entered that particular asset class. So all of you kind of gave me a half-ass answer because you guys are way too smart for me. Seriously. That's why I call myself Clueless 8. Expansion. I know it's an expansion. You tell a guy on the street, hey, a green candle is expansion. He's going to look at you and say, what? You got to bring it down to the most simple common denominator so that a person on the street can understand what you're saying. And that's why Donald got so many votes. Because he just says it the way it is, whether you like him or not. Cannot be too edumacated. I said that purposely, okay? Edumacated. Yes, price went up. So, what are you trying to give me an answer to impress me? Give an answer so the common person on the street, the average American can understand. Money went in. All right, I made my point. You guys are like way too smart for me. Seriously. All right. So these candles are telling us we want to go higher. And in the case of this, it's 307.88, at least based on the automated upper resistance level, which is R3, which is 308.14, right there. Right there. Actually, 307.97. So if somebody's a SPY trader, they could buy some calls going into the middle of the month or for the week at 308. This is very bullish. No question about it. Let's look at IWM, which is the small cap US centric business. Russell 2000. Again, drawn many long time ago. The dotted yellow line is always the pivot. Above pivot is good. Below pivot is bad. And what are we seeing? Another frigging breakout. Now, I must admit, I have made money maybe 20% or 30% of the time on, and as I'm talking, I'm just adjusting these lines. This is going to be red because it's a gap fill. 20 to 30% out of the 100% of the time, I should have made money on the Russell 2000. But so many of the other things has kept me busy and have done well for me that I actually have lost money by not being aggressively long the Russell 2000. So I will admit that. I will admit that. Those are gap fills. That's the reason why they're red and dotted. Lines are dotted. Okay, good. Look at that. What's the upper end of the Bollinger? Remember, technical analysis is about probabilities. Like where can something go short term? Where can something go longer term? We're going to look at some longer term charts tonight before we look at some stocks. So it's not a perfect science, but it works. It works. So if I have to determine where it can go, then I have to basically make a prediction. So upper end of the Bollinger is 190, 190.35. So if somebody was betting on the options, then they should be betting on 190.35 as the highest, what we call max upside on the Russell 2000. Right there, right there. Now, I didn't make it up. I'm just purely basing it on what I see on my screen, which is the upper Bollinger, because that's the only reference point that I can see, 190.35. So that's another 20 points on the RUT and 2 points on the Russell 2000, right there. This is super bullish. And this is what scares me, because I really haven't seen charts like this, like such amazing setups where you can still go nuts on the market and not be like, oh my God, I'm going into this hellhole of an overbought condition. Because look at this. Look at this. I'm just showing the technical part. I'm not even putting my opinion down here. Every single one of them. And we know what the risks are. Paul mentioned the biggest risk, which is the stimulus. The second biggest risk is a complete meltdown of the election, presidential handover process, blah, 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 you know. Some other credit risk coming out from overseas, we don't know, you know, things like that. But this is sick. Okay, so I showed you three major indices, and that's about it. Let me just put this screen out. Questions, if you guys have any, as I'm going through these things. And I am going to bring in, I believe, and these minor pullbacks here and there don't bother me unless major technical levels break. The major technical level, which shouldn't break, is somewhere below this red line here. We can come all the way down here, scare the living daylights out of everybody. Can somebody tell me what happened on Thursday? You guys are all alive. What happened on Thursday? Where did the markets open up on Thursday? I mean, I'm not asking for exact numbers, but what happened to the markets on Thursday? Let's see your memory.
There's a gap down.
Gap down like almost 400 points on the Dow, right? And the Nasdaq was falling apart like crazy, right?
Had something to do with I think it was the news, the distribution.
I didn't ask for the reason. I didn't ask for the reason, Mr. Chris. You know, let me do that. But no, I did. It doesn't have anything to do with the distribution. It had to do, which we listened to my Twitter feed and my broadcast that I take the time to put out in the afternoon. You would know that the reason that happened is because Salesforce.com, a major Dow component, was down $15. And that was the distribution, which in simple English means selling. So they had to sell the rest of the techs to basically compensate for all the margin calls that were coming out. Guys, let me just say one thing straight out. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I'll beat you guys any day on telling you what the market does. Better than any other frigging goddamn service that's out there. Anyone, anybody. And it's a fact. You know, parking my boss's car from all the way back in the late 90s to rising up to the upper ranks of Wall Street didn't make me stupid. There's a lot of great traders out there. Great trading services. How many of them actually work in the canyons of Wall Street to see how the game works? That is one of the biggest assets you all should have for working with Clueless A Trading. End of my sales pitch. All right, here we go. What do you guys see in this chart? This is Big C, Big Commerce, a stock that has lagged the overall market while Shopify has been rushing towards 1100, pulls back, now at 1050. One of our biggest winners. So this I call Shopify Junior. What do you guys see in this chart? Is this chart bullish or bearish? Chris, just one word. Bullish or bearish? For I mean for first glance, my friend.
I would say it's bullish.
Okay. Hold on for 1 second, JP. I gotta get one of my dogs out back from the patio. Hold on 1 second. Okay, I'm back. The dogs are nice and cozy and warm. They don't want to come back from the patio, except it's almost 35 degrees out there. Paul, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm more neutral on this. I'm not really bullish at this point.
Okay, let me explain to you why I think it's a very bullish chart. Bear with me 1 second. Put my computer glasses on, my gunners. I hope all of you guys who have multiple screens wear blue light lenses, because otherwise it's going to screw your eyes over a period of time. Okay, Chris says bullish. JP, what do you say? Very bullish. Yes, like that. Okay. Paul is mixed feelings. And Mike?
I'm going to say bullish. It's
Okay.
holiday season.
I have one reservation.
Yes, of course. Please go ahead, Chris.
It's, you know, it's got a nice cup and handle, but that last candle is it's stuck under the 50-day moving average.
That is exactly why it's called cognitive bias. It's a very good point that you made, that everyone else who's going to listen to this webinar overnight and tomorrow is going to understand. A cognitive bias basically says Internals are all good. Internals are all good. Volume expansion, stochastics moving up nicely, Mclaren Oscillator shooting higher, and the MACD is just very soon about to cross. So internals are all fine. So Chris basically said there's your red line, which he correctly pointed. Appreciate that. 50-day moving average. With a bullish candle like that, with expanding volume, why shouldn't it kiss the 50-day moving average? A bear, which you're not, I know, you just basically mentioned the point, will say, whoa, I don't give a shit about this candle. This candle meant that millions of dollars, not billions, millions of dollars went in from $74.48 to $80.29 in one single frigging day. So it's heading towards the 50-day moving average. And at that point, there was before, back on November 27, you can see that right there. There was a sell. We don't know what the reaction is going to be at the 50-day moving average. But the last time it went to the 50-day moving average, did you see a candle like this? Yes or no, Chris?
No, not at all.
Exactly. So you have to look at it. I'm not pushing you to think the way you should think. But this, to me, is very bullish because it went through the yellow line, which is the 34-day moving average. I'm sorry, the orange line is the 30-day moving average. The yellow line is the 5-day moving average, which still hasn't turned up. It needs to turn up like this.
Well, I think I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, Frank, but you look at the stochastics, the last time it kissed the 50-day, stochastic was very overbought.
Yes, but it's not overbought right now. Now the stochastics are moving.
That's what I'm saying. It's got the juice to go over it now.
Got you. Exactly. That's the juice I'm looking for. Now, this is one of the most important points that I want to make for options traders. As options traders, do we look for perfection? No. Do I think the stock is going to go to 90 bucks or at least the uptrend line here, which is a megaphone, the lower end of the megaphone? That's called the megaphone. Right there. Right there. Okay. Do I think eventually the stock over the next couple of months will go to 155? Yeah, maybe. But at least it's going to hit this gap fill. That's a gap fill. That green line was not drawn for visual stimulation. It was drawn because it's a gap fill. Do I think it's going to get there by earnings? Yes, I believe so. And I'm going to show you a couple of different patterns, and I'm going to focus on this because there are very few powerful companies like this, which is Shopify Junior, that powered the software of big commerce. A great American company like Boeing, that is still undervalued. Yes, it's a new IPO. We made money on this on the IPO day when I told people to buy it. That's the reason why I like big commerce. And the stock went from about 70. We bought it not exactly at the bottom, but like around 70 bucks, whatever. And the next day, and the same day, the stock went to 94. The next day, it went to 105. Then it created a falling wedge right there. Technicals are not about what we think. It's what the price patterns are telling us. After many months, from August, 3 months down the road, it's only been alive on the public markets for 3 months, 90 days. 90 days. It took off. Does anyone remember? Because we caught the whole bunch in the middle, not to the top, but the whole bunch in the middle. Why the stock exploded from 65 to 160, $100 in 1, 2, 3, 4 days, 5 days. And we caught a whole bunch in the middle. Can somebody remember why? I'll tell you why. Because Facebook contracted and signed up with Big Commerce for Instagram Shop. which is one of their biggest money makers. And then came the pullback. Exactly. So what we are doing here, what I like to do, is to buy these amazing companies, which are tomorrow's Google, which are tomorrow's Tesla, which are tomorrow's Apple, and tomorrow's Facebook on the cheap. That's what I'm doing. And I have the technical patterns to back me up. So as an options trader, told you guys to buy it around 78. The stock's at 80.29. Even if it kisses and fails at 82, you still made money. Maybe some of you guys have trust funds, worth billions of millions of dollars. I don't. I'll make a couple of $100, couple of $1,000, and I will scale back and I'll re-enter. That's the difference between me as a tactical trader and all of you people. You guys always look at the big picture. Well, some of you. I look at the big picture too. But the big picture ain't going to pay your bills on a monthly basis. Am I right or wrong, Chris?
Right.
I know you're right. Exactly. Unless you're worth like 20 million bucks. Are you?
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Actually, I was looking up the lockup expiration date. That's why I was distracted. I was just trying.
Yeah. So they're a smart company. You think they're going to demolish their stock at lockup expiration? You think they're that stupid? No. They'll probably say like, most of our insiders won't sell. I'm looking at the technical part. All I'm looking for is, like Chris correctly pointed out, the 50-day moving average, 82, 89. See the reaction around there. Already up a little bit on the money since I alerted. And if it gets into the lower end of the megaphone, which is 86, 96, this is the way I look at it. And I'm going to keep it real simple. Like they say, man without an opinion is no man. You know who said that? Dick Tracy. Exactly. All right. So let me get the pen. I got it. All right. This is what we have. As this is a minor cup and handle and a major breakout. I'm looking at 86 to 90. That's a very decent sum of money. And I believe, that's my gut assumption, that the stock will complete the completion pattern at 110. 110. 110. Big supply zones, big sell zones. 110. Gap fill, maybe it happens. And this is the online selling season. That's why I'm bullish on Big C. Now, all these technicals got thrown out with the baby with the bathwater if the stock breaks below 70 or 74, in which case it's back down to 65. That's all. Let's take a look at Gamestop. Has a delta of 234 freaking % for this week on earnings, with an implied volatility of 55%. That means the stock can move 50%, 50% on earnings. Now, what is the seasonal catalyst for GameStop, which has already made us a lot of money? One of my biggest winners this year, overall. What is the biggest seasonal catalyst for GameStop?
Christmas.
Christmas.
Christmas for what? What do they do? What do they do? Why is Christmas important for, and Thanksgiving, which has already passed? important for GameStop?
Aren't they selling PlayStations and stuff like that?
Yes, Nintendo, PlayStation, the whole works. Let me put this back here. Exactly. So the seasonal factor is very, very important. Very important. And we've already been making money on it. This chart is so goddamn good. Wow. The stock was $2.57 during the COVID-19 with a complete double bottom. That happened on August of 2019. Let's focus on technicals. Let's focus on technicals. I'm going to keep on saying that. Double bottom. Massive. W formation. Almost hit 20. Big downtrend line coming from way back. On the weekly. Let me clean this chart out. Wow, where's I had drawn out, so why I can't even find what the original reference point is. Oh, 10-year monthly. Oh, this is a 10-year monthly. That's why I couldn't find the thing. Is this chart bullish, or like are traders completely blind? It's so super bullish from a technical standpoint, it's not even funny. Not to mention that they could get a buyout from Microsoft that they just contracted with 2 months ago. This goes all the way back when GameStop was a $57 stock in November of 2013. When you find gentlemen and ladies who are going to listen, who will be listening to this, were 7 years younger. Okay? This is a stock that is under major M&A restructuring. 3 activist billionaires are in there, including this ex-CEO and founder of Chewy.com, including the guy who was known as the Big Short. You think they're stupid? They're the ones living in $20 million mansions, not you and me. $22, 50% retracement on a multi-year basis at 30.17. What is about this stock that is bearish? I'm just asking, Chris. And how come you don't make money off GameStop? I'm going to put you on the spot. How come you don't make money off GameStop?
I played it. I made a couple bucks.
Okay. Well, how about making some real money? And getting excited about being a technical trader. Don't take me the wrong way, Chris. I'm not picking on you. You know, I respect you a lot.
I
Okay.
didn't think you were.
Start looking at
what's
this.
What's bearish about it? Well, I'm not one to play earnings. You know,
you're not the one to play what?
Play earnings. You know what I mean? Do lottos on earnings.
Okay, forget earnings. What about when I told you guys to buy the stock down at $9, and you had joined the service at that point? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's when I get in it.
Good. And now it's and then it went to 20. You should have made at least $7,000 on it. You didn't. No, I'm going to put you on the spot. Exactly. Stop making excuses. I'm not pushing people to like buy something they don't want to buy. Yeah, you don't want to play earnings. That's why Page of Duty was up 170% when I told you guys to buy it at 85 cents, and it went to $2.90. Please don't tell me about not playing earnings. If you can't bet a couple of, let me finish. If you can't, and not just you, I'm talking in general. If people can't bet a couple of $100 on earnings, then what the fuck are they doing as options traders? I have had more earnings winners to boost up my smaller account, one of my smaller accounts. I have multiple accounts, okay? I have one account dedicated just to earnings, which you guys, your heads would spin, called a basket strategy. That's why that nice blonde lady from Austria, Leah, sends out the feedback that she's making 11,000, 9,000 and stuff off a $2,000-3,000 earnings play. So please don't give me that excuse. All right. So bottom line is this stock is, in my opinion, going higher. What's GameStop going to do? Even if it pulls back a little bit, even if it pulls back to the bottom of the channel at 15, yeah, I would say 44 to 15, buy it. Look at the volume expansion. Who are these people buying? Holy shit, 367 million, 364 million shares. While us pikers are saying, hey, I don't play earnings. Exactly. All right. If somebody just followed volume and price, which is not the case anymore because of all the algorithmic high frequency trading, volatility programs. But if somebody was just looking at price and volume, why wouldn't they buy this stock on a multi-year basis? Multi-year basis. And God help me if this stock breaks over 22.53, the next level of contact as the line has been drawn is 27.65. 50% retracement, I believe the stock goes to 30. End of story. And even if it pulls back, who the F cares? Buy it. That's all. Paul, could you please take over and mention a couple of stocks that I can actually put out on the charts? I'd like you to take a look at some of the big cap techs.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Do you want to load them up on your screen and then you just want me to name some names? Yep.
I'm going to give you the control. I just sent request options. One sec. Make presenter Paul. Paul, you are fully in control, my friend. So you have.
Okay, there it is. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And actually, Frank, I want to get your opinion on this too. Just going back to the SPY because that's very key for the overall market, obviously.
Hold on, let me pull this in here.
Are you able to see the candles there?
I certainly see the candles. I don't see the bottom, but I do see your screen. Okay. I do see your screen.
Yeah, I was just zooming in a bit there.
Please do.
Just to show the trend line.
Just so everyone understands, this is my good friend Paul, who is a large cap trader primarily on the tech side, and he's going to be showing his charts. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's right. And I want to get your opinion on this too, Frank, because I see a very significant trend line here. So this goes all the way back to August 2018.
Now, Paul, can I ask you a question? Can we see the bottom?
Yep. Oh, yeah. Can you see? You can't see the date right now?
No, I can see the date, but I need to see the bottom of the candles. Okay. There you go. There you go. Now we're talking. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was zooming in to just show the accuracy of the candles there. But if I just go along here, so this is a daily chart going back to fall of 2018. So we follow it up here. Here we go. Following along. Here's the big COVID crash, right? So it actually
and just to remind everyone, Paul is talking about the SPY, right? The S&P 500 SPY ETF. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then we get a big drop, of course, in March, and then it comes all the way back here, September, tested again, and then denied again, but this time not as much. And it, of course, makes that dragon bullish W. And then this is a daily chart. So just on Friday, what do we get? We get the first candle that closed above this resistance. And so an argument can be made that we just broke out on Friday.
Correct. And that is what I was showing on the SPX on my quad chart too.
Yeah. So yeah, breakout, just like your cup and handle, breakout right over that trend line. So as much as the market is showing bullish sentiment, and like you said, it can stay bullish. This illustrates to me that we just broke out. So maybe we hang around here for a little while, but I think eventually this line becomes resistance, and who knows if we'll ever go back below it for a long time, if ever, right? So anyways, that's the bullish case that I see.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the SPY.
Go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, here's another thing about SPY, right? There's a point and figure chart. I don't even really know how to read these, but I have a program that basically
Yeah,
spits out.
I actually never really learned point and figure, but it
Yeah.
works very well, you know. But
Yeah,
please
it's like old
go ahead.
school. Yeah,
Old
it's like
school,
old
yes,
school. Like
I
traders
know.
used to like grab the paper and just start right next to the nose, and you write if it
It's
closes
like
above a certain level.
it's like
Yeah,
reading the ticker tape from the old
yeah,
days.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly. But they are accurate. And I've been talking to somebody that does these as well too, and they say like if the shorter time frames are more accurate than the longer time frame. So if I just pull up the SPY chart, I go 60 minutes. Here's the bullish price objective right here. 414.08 is the 60 minute.
Wow. Wow. Talk about being bullish. Wow.
And doesn't that go good with this storyline as well too?
Yes, it does, sir.
And now let me show you one more thing. If you do, the reason these are different colors in the background is this is a Fibonacci going
Okay.
back to the lows in March.
Yes.
And so I measured it from the lows in March, and the high point here is the February just before the COVID crash. So that's the range that I'm taking here.
Wow.
And where does it put us? It puts us in. It would show that we're in the middle of this fib zone, which
So
goes to
basically
410.
410. So give or take, you're talking 4100 S&P 500.
Yeah, and
Roughly.
then you put a GAN fan on there to see, like we're
Oh,
basically
wow.
following.
I'm going to show some GAN fans tomorrow. I still have my GAN fan charts. Yeah, go ahead.
So we're riding this GAN fan right now. I don't know if we're going to stay on here, but if we do, we would
Yeah.
hit that at the end of January.
Can I stop
Which
you
is
for 1 second?
Yeah.
Gentlemen, everyone else out there, are you guys kind of following what Paul's saying? He's showing some amazing stuff.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and what happens at the end of January? Well, that's the biggest company earnings. The tech earnings are right around there too, right? So,
Yes.
anyways, that looks pretty good to me. So maybe we're headed to the moon.
I love that. I love that.
So
And screen. Only thing that I want to mention to people who are options traders like us, and of course we have longer term positions too, is on some of our other accounts, is that intermediate as we get towards those final destinations, get ready for big volatility. That's one thing you do agree with, Paul, right?
yeah, absolutely. I'm actually positioned for further out for my options. I think March and April are the soonest ones I have expiring right now, just because it
Okay.
is unknown, and we're very bullish. It's making me a little bit nervous how bullish we are, because I'm bullish usually, but when everybody else is bullish, I get nervous too, just like you do.
So basically, you are echoing exactly what I talked about just a few minutes ago. So on that note, I'm going to show you one chart here from Quad, which is going to be kind of mind-boggling. All these dots, by the way, from all the trades that we have done. But look at that. That's a nice pattern. So forget all the lines and stuff. Let me just show you. This is what's happening on, where's the pivot? Where's the pivot? 1 second. Right there. Cut this
Hey
out.
Frank, I think you need to take back control to show that chart. I think I'm still on my screen here.
Oh, okay. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, I got it. You want to show any other chart, like on any other stock while you
Yeah,
have? Yeah,
I'll just
please
be really
do.
quick. Yeah,
Please
really
do. Of
quick.
course.
Do you see the
I'd
Facebook
love that.
one right now? Are you seeing?
Yes, I
Are
do
you seeing
see
that?
Facebook.
Yeah.
Everyone else sees
So that
Facebook. Go
yeah,
ahead.
so this one is like a really tight triangle. So I'm really interested to see what Facebook does this week.
Now,
Okay, so
I've
there's
been
one.
trading Facebook on very short intervals, like on a 1 to 2 day level. Facebook was slightly hurt because of the political ramifications on the antitrust issues, right? So
Yeah.
that's something that we have to keep in mind, even though it's not going to make a hill of beans difference down the road. But Paul, go ahead. Yeah. Show your Boeing, and I'm going to show my Boeing too.
Yeah, all I want to show is the MACD monthly on Boeing, and look at this, about to cross bullish, massive turn to the bullish side. It hasn't even really started yet. This is a monthly MACD on Boeing.
Wow.
I mean that just screams to me like, although we've gone up a huge amount, we got
I
a lot more upside.
you see, I couldn't even disagree with you 1 point, because I've been long and pushing Boeing over and over again. and taking staggered profits, moving strikes up. And anybody who's not Boeing is a goddamn idiot, in my opinion.
And here's the point and figure price objective again for 60 minutes,
Go
304
ahead.
for Boeing. So
304.
304 is the price objective there.
Okay.
Um,
So stay
yeah.
there. I'm not going to take your control away. And
Okay.
I'm going to push my Boeing chart in there. And guys, please listen. If you guys don't want to day trade like, this and that, which is totally fine, or swing trade over a couple of days, just friggin' buy Boeing, all right? I've been saying that for weeks now, for weeks. And look at Paul's, Roku. Go ahead. Go. Shoot
Yeah,
Roku. Go for it.
I wanted to bring this one up because we actually talked about this one on your webinar several
Yes, I
weeks
know.
ago, and look how it just continues. It's actually gravitating towards
So
the top there.
what you're looking for a price target going into the end of the year that we're going to get a nice push on the text?
I would say the logical place is this fib level right here, this 438, and it
Wow.
would hit the top at the end of January, which actually is right when the SPY we
So
said the SPY would hit.
you would be buying calls going into January or February?
I just noticed this for the first time, but it actually hits the top at this
Yeah.
pace at the same week as that SPY that we just looked at. So it's end of January. So I'd go
Yes.
end of January. Yeah.
Okay. So you guys heard that. You can buy some long dated calls, not necessarily long dated leaves or long dated calls going to the end of January. Okay. That's goddamn fantastic. Any other quick stock that you want to show before I bring in my Boeing chart?
No, I think that let me just do a quick check because I post. Oh yeah, one more. Just wanted to show Amazon here. So
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, please do. Please do.
oh yeah, so I
Made
mean
some
I
good
already
money
did.
on Amazon this week. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Especially on
I mean
Thursday on the reversal. Okay.
I did show that Amazon actually earlier, but here's one too that you can draw the triangle a couple of different ways. So here's the weekly. So if you do a triangle, this makes logical sense, a small triangle, and then this week might be a decision maker on which way it goes here. But if you wanted to be really safe, you could do the outer edge of the triangle, and then it means it might have more time.
And what
So
is the
anyways,
upper end of the of the triangle on the upper end?
of
Go
the
up.
small triangle.
No, the macro triangle, the bigger one.
Yeah, that one, the upper range is 3,400. By the way, there's a point and figure here.
Go ahead.
Again, this is a short-term target as well too on this point and figure. I like to use that as well. 3577 is the point and figure there.
Holy shit. Now, what you're listening to, ladies and gentlemen, are more longer term swing trades or at least some very bullish projections. But guess what? There's a very simple thing about life and trading. What you don't make is what you lose. So you better listen to, Paul on these things, and I'm going to be showing you my Amazon and my Boeing, my version. I'm more of a tactical trader, so I take profits on a staggered basis. Paul generally, based on his charts and stuff, tends to buy months out and sit there. Am I right, Paul?
Yeah, and I usually buy in the money as well too.
Right.
I'm not looking
So
for like
let
five
me
figures.
let me ask you a simple question. This is like the Phil Donahue Oprah show. God bless Phil Donahue's soul. How do you deal with intraday volatility when you see your P&Ls are going like up and down nuts on certain days?
Yeah, well, the way I deal with it is I buy in the money and I buy time, and I'm not looking for home runs. I just look for doubles.
Good. So in simple English, for all other traders listening to your valuable suggestions, is you kind of bite your teeth and say, okay, fine. The trend is the same. That the overall larger picture is good. So I don't really give a shit what's going to happen over 1 or 2 days, right?
Yeah, like this triangle is a good example. I don't care if it goes short term, long term. I know it's going to hit my goal at some point.
Guys, did you all hear that? Chris?
Yeah, I hear you.
JP? So that's another version. That's why I love Paul putting in his input, because Paul and me think the same way. We are very bullish on overall technology because that is the growth engine of America. That's what makes America great. Not great again, but just really great. Okay, like greater. How about that? So the fact is that he has a more longer term view. I tend to be more shorter term, intermediate, with a picture on the overall view. So it's a great combination of opinions. So thank you very much, Paul. So I'm going to
Quick
basically
question.
go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
So when everyone's done with this small cap energy stocks, banks, etc. How far out do you think
By the
everyone's
way, I will
kind
be
of?
the first one to admit, Chris, just not to cut you off, but just to say, I have been a complete loser not playing the energy sector, like the EOGs, the ENPH, and some great energy companies, which were the biggest winners last week. But please go ahead, Chris.
There's some good penny stocks, oil stocks. They used to be $5-10. They're still only $1 or $2. I'm looking to get into some of those still.
What I
But
want you
anyway,
to go ahead.
when here's my question is, when some of this stuff is going to run out of steam, what would be your best guess as far as everybody kind of running back to growth?
The growth has always been something that over the last 20, 30 years has always been that's propelled the US markets. So value rotations can happen once in a while, but if you have a Procter and Gamble that's being valued twice more than an Amazon on a overall financial engineering basis, then it doesn't make any sense. So value will always be there, but as long as the US economy is growing and we are in the reopening phase, no question about it, then growth is going to always beat value. No question about it. Now, energy is part of growth because that's when economies pick up, energy picks up. And I'll be looking at more energy stocks this week because I certainly missed out on that run. There's no question about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we see Amazon kind of hovering around in this a very narrow trading range.
Right. I mean,
But
look, I'll put in my 2 cents. I'll put in my 2 cents. I play Amazon on a short-term basis. I'm not a long-term holder of Amazon, even though I do believe that Amazon itself, all of a sudden, just like the other great companies, what if they announce a split? Then what's going to happen? What if Amazon decides to put their Paul? What's the name of their space program? Blue Origin, right? Blue Origin. So if Bezos says Blue Origin, what if they say Blue Origin is going to be spun off as an IPO? Amazon will go up $500 in 2 days. So that's what if Amazon says AWS, which is their biggest growth engine, Amazon Web Services, their cloud service, where all the great Fortune 500 companies, stored their data. Facebook and everybody else too. What if they say AWS is going to be spun off as an IPO? That is the difference between other services and me, because I know that the investment bankers are thinking about it. They already have the plans drawn out. So if Amazon splits into 2 different companies, or if the government pushes Amazon to split, because both Democrats and Republicans are always after the answers of our greatest companies. I hate that. Okay? Let them break up Facebook. Great. Here's Facebook, and then there's Instagram, and there's this. Facebook, the unlocked value will be like 5 times more. Am I right or wrong, Paul? Right? So basically, that's the way it goes. So let me try to disconnect Paul. Go to meeting. I don't even know how to do it. Paul, 1 second. I'm trying to get Paul so I can show my Amazon chart. Now, sorry, my Boeing chart. Where is my Boeing chart? Hold on 1 second. I'm going to bring it into the screen. Bear with me 1 second, and then we're going to close out the session. For all great points. You guys were fantastic with your comments. I'm trying to find my Boeing chart. Hold on. Paul, can you disconnect yourself so I can get back on my screen?
Let me see here. I have a
Yeah.
button here.
Yeah, I'm still trying. I'm kind of an idiot, like, trying to figure this out.
I actually left and it still doesn't disconnect me.
It's still
Maybe
there.
maybe just try booting me. I can connect right away again.
Okay, let me boot you. Let me say dismiss Paul. Dismiss Paul, and I just did that, and come back. Hold on 1 second. All right, guys, are you guys connected?
Yeah, I still got Paul's screen up though. That's okay. It looks good.
I know. No, I want to show the Boeing chart, and I got it, and I'm going to show it right now because this has been one of my ultimate like charts ever. Okay, seriously. So this is Boeing's chart from day one. Can you guys see this chart? Am I on the screen for you guys?
No.
I am not. Oh, that kind of sucks. Hold on. Jeez, I can't get Paul out of here. My Boeing chart is, I posted it before, but are you guys there or are you gone? Are you guys still connected?
We're here.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to find it, Mike. I'm just trying to get Paul out of the picture, but I am failing to do that. Okay, let's see here. Because normally we don't have like other presenters, so I didn't know how to do it. Okay, 1 second. Simon, you came in?
I'm here.
All right, man. You've been listening to a whole bunch of stuff that's being presented?
I joined a little late, but I'll catch up on the recording.
Absolutely, absolutely. Good hearing your voice. I'm trying to get Paul out of here, and I'm trying to figure out how. I know Paul left, but his screen is still on top of it. And you guys still see Paul's screen, right? On the giant bull flag stuff?
No, nothing's being shared right now.
I see the giant bull flag.
You do see the giant bull flag. So Simon, how come you don't see it?
Might be I'm on the phone.
Paul is presenting.
I had a question about your blockchain stock.
Yeah, that one is a complete speculative play, but that thing can go completely berserk, by the way, higher. Okay, Paul has left. Yeah, go ahead. What's your question, sir?
How'd you find out about that one, Frank?
Of one of my news services, of briefing.com.
All right.
That thing is up 60%. I bought a whole bunch of shares. I'm up a decent sum of money. I mean, obviously, I don't go hog wild on that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I mean, those are. And then I bought it. It shot up to 21 cents. Then it dropped down to 12. I bought more. To me, like buying 1,000 shares is like $120. Like, who gives a crap? Buy a couple of thousand shares. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my point is, it's a complete spec play, but I did some due diligence on it, and hey, it looks like the company's real on what they're doing. And I found that video of a gentleman on StockTwits who had posted the YouTube video, and I put that out there. So if this thing
Right.
if this thing actually works based on what they're saying, then just from a momentum standpoint, and this is what happens, with the riots
I
of the
did,
world, and this thing can go to
yeah.
$1. That means you made 500% on your money.
I did a lot of research on it, and I found that they're definitely a real company.
I see. Go ahead.
I think they're flat broke though. That's why they're coming in and a
I'm saying
reverse
they're
merger.
what?
I think they don't have a lot of money to begin with. That's why they're
No,
coming in.
I know, but remember one thing: on a market that's running on fire because of Bitcoin, well, those particular sector, I can't get Paul out of here, so I'm just going to keep talking. I'm going to put the Boeing chart out first thing tomorrow morning, and I know you guys have seen it. It's a fantastic chart. The fact is that just on momentum, this is a complete high risk play. It can go to 50 cents. So my average cost basis is around 18 cents. If I go, that's like an $18 stock going to 50. So people who are going to play that don't come to me and say, oh my God, it went down, because it's a complete speculative OTC, over the counter penny stock play. And but there is something behind it. There's something behind it. This
It's still
Bitcoin
it's
across the border in India and Mexico and this and that. Well, a lot of people, working as laborers and gardeners and this and that, they're trying to transact money at low cost to send back to their families. Hey, this shit can go. So let me just point out one thing. This is the way I am. Okay. And we're stuck with the giant bull flag, which I love, by the way. Is you guys do see the Amazon giant bull flag still on the screen, correct?
yeah.
Okay, because I can't get that off, so I'm going to leave it there. So the last thing I'm going to say is that when these kind of speculative stocks and they have something, just a pure move. How many times have we seen things up 2,500%? And we have not been in there, or we have caught maybe 200% of that. And so that's the kind of thing this thing is, unless it's a complete scam that we don't know about. So this is always a small portion of the picture. So the last thing I'm going to say, and Chris, you can add your comments, is
Okay.
research is all fine and good. This is all about excitement. Excitement. Bitcoin across the border transactions, payment transactions. This stock can go a lot higher. So go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, they got that guy George Sharp. They hired him. He outs a lot of OTC scams. A guy named George Sharp. He's on Twitter. George Sharp.
Okay,
And,
go ahead. We're listening. Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right.
He outs a lot of OTC scams, and they hired this guy as a consultant.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, so the TNSP stock was basically a dead stock. It was a dormant stock.
Correct.
And this guy, George Sharp, hooked up this Block 30 Humble Pay. They basically brought them together. So he got him a clean stock that's never been involved in a pump and dump before. And so it looks legit to me. I even checked out their offices, though. Their offices are basically WeWork offices. They have an office in Singapore.
Do me a favor. Do some heavy-duty due diligence on this. And like I said, Chris is bringing some very big points. All we're doing, if it's a pump and dump, let's play the pump and let's not be on the dump. Let's just put it this way.
Here's my concern. Here's the only concern I have, though, is that there's nothing stopping, being that it's an OTC stock. There's very little reporting that is required.
Of course.
Very little regulation.
And just so everybody knows, OTC is a penny stock. They are not by compliance standards and ASD, SEC. They are not they're held to the same strict standards.
The only concern is that an opportunist could come in and who knows, they may already be in there.
Yeah, and when the stock dumps up, so that's why I'm saying keep a very close eye on it. If you have a couple of thousand shares, whatever, certainly don't put too much money in it. But whatever the case, click sell. That's it. Because this is an OTC stock. When you buy it, they actually charge you a commission, just so you know. Okay, they actually charge you a commission. So so this is only for fast traders, but I'll like I said, I am not one into penny stocks and stuff, as you guys all know. I'm all into legit stocks, but it's kind of fun. And it seems like a good idea, but like Chris brought out some danger points, so I keep that in mind. All right. On that note, guys, I'd love to hang out with you guys all night, but tomorrow is going to be a busy day, and this week is going to be a busy day. And thank you for all your input. And our next session is on Wednesday. And any questions, just DM me directly on Twitter. God bless you all. Thank you again. Thank you.
Thanks, Frank.
Take care.